We'll start with the prayers. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We started our study of Kathopanishad last week. I gave you a brief introduction of Upanishads in general and also of Kathopanishad. I said there were more than 1,200 schools of Vedanta during the Vedic period. Each one had one Upanishad. So there were 1,200 Upanishads before, but now what we find is about 112 Upanishads where we have the verses and the meanings. I have circulated to you by WhatsApp today the text which was forwarded by Vishal Gupta to me. I had introduced that text last time, the book by Banarsi Lal in publishers in India. I've given you the PDF version of that in WhatsApp. Now, our study is of Kathopanishad. Kathopanishad comes from Krishna Yajurveda. Yajurveda is divided into Shukla Yajurveda and Krishna Yajurveda. The bulk of the Upanishads we find is from the Yajurveda. Out of these 112 Upanishads or 108 Upanishads, almost 50% of the Upanishads comes from Yajurveda. In our study, there are three Upanishads we study: Taittiriya Upanishad, Svetashvatara Upanishad, and Amrit Bindu Upanishad, along with Kathopanishad. All these four Upanishads, out of 12 Upanishads which we study, comes from Krishna Yajur Veda. In all these 112 Upanishads, the theme is only one. There is only one teaching. That teaching is called as Advaita Vedanta. What do you mean by Advaita Vedanta? In simple terms, Advaita means there is a principle called Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Satyam means it exists in three periods of time, changelessly, eternally. Chit means Chaitanyam. It is of the nature of consciousness. And Anantam means blissful. It is always blissful. Now, together is called as Brahman. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. This is the definition of the ultimate reality. You can call it reality in philosophy, you can call it God in religious terms. And this God is given different names in different languages and so on. But ultimate essence of this God or reality is formless in nature. Formless. It cannot be perceived by the sense organs. It cannot be thought by the mind. So this Brahman is the central theme of all the Upanishadic study. This is the first lesson. The second lesson is this Brahman is Satyam. If this Brahman, pure consciousness, existence, blissful nature is Satyam, what is my body? What is this world which I am experiencing? The seen world. The seer is consciousness. The seen world is mithya. Mithya means it is available for experience, perception, recognition. Satyam means it is not available for perception, but it exists. So, existence is one aspect of creation, appearance is another aspect of creation. Two things. Then the third lesson is I'm telling you in general what is taught in the Upanishads. All these points which I'm telling you now, they are the general theme of all the Upanishads. The third lesson we should understand is one is Satyam, independently existing. The world is Mithya, an appearance which depends on this Brahman. Without this Brahman, there is no Mithya. Without rope, there is no rope snake. Without sand, there is no mirage water. Without waker, there is no dreamer and the dream world. Without Brahman, there is no waking world. Okay, this is the third lesson. The fourth lesson is Advaitam is the nature of Brahman. Once you have understood Brahman, the consciousness is the reality. It is the world is born from this reality. It exists in this reality. It resolves into this reality. Then what we can say is Brahman, Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya, Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. Jiva means this indweller of this body who thinks today he is the body is nothing but that Brahman, that pure consciousness, the real. Okay, so Shankaracharya says in all the Upanishads, you have to remember Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya, Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. I am that Jiva today in this body. I am identified with this body. I am a suffering Jiva. I am a sorrow because identified with the mind. This Jiva is the seeker who is identified with the body and mind. This seeker wants to know what is my real nature? Who am I? Upanishad teaching helps him to understand I am Sat Chit Ananda Brahman. In Mandukya, we call it Turiyam Brahma. Okay. So this is the background on which this you should study the entire Kathopanishad. Now, coming to Kathopanishad, there are 119 verses. These 119 verses are divided into two chapters, and two chapters. Each chapter has got three sections. Two chapters, 119 verses. The first chapter has got 71 verses. The second chapter has got 48 verses. In all this, we have to understand that Advaitam is the truth. Brahman is the truth. The reality is known as Brahman. The reality or God is known as Brahman. Today we are going to start the section number 1 of the first chapter. The first chapter consists of 71 verses. Out of these 71 verses, 46 verses belonging to the first section and the second section is the story part. So one third of the 119 verses is only a story, which we will be going fairly quickly. When it comes to the Vedantic portion, I will be going slow, but when it is a story part, I will go through the verses and you can read the notes also. You will be able to understand the story part. Don't focus too much on the story part and let your mind dwell on the how come this is true and all that. But just hear the story. But remember the Tatparyam, the uh, teaching of Upanishad is the most important part. That is the central message. Tatparyam means central message of the Upanishad is not the story part. Story part is a background information so that the seeker understands certain aspects of this teaching. We will see what are those aspects as we go through these slides. Now, with that, we will go to our first chapter, first section. This is what we are supposed to study. I finished the last portion. In the last section, I have covered up to this slide. So this is our starting point today. First chapter, first Valli. Section is called as Valli in Kathopanishad. So up to the second section, 17th verse, the story continues. That's why I said the story consists of the 29 verses of the first section and also the 17 verses of the second section. The teaching starts from the second section, 18th verse. So till that time, just listen. Between maybe today, in 3 sessions, probably I will cover the story part, 3-4 sessions. After the 4th session, maybe I will start the actual teaching of Kathopanishad. Very, very beautiful teaching. You'll be very excited to know what is this whole teaching about. It's presented in a very beautiful way. So keep your eyes open. Just let the story part sink in, and then you see how the Upanishad builds up this entire teaching of Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya, Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. When we study the story part, there are a lot of lessons we learn of how to live in this world, how to conduct myself in this world. There are 4 topics in the story. The first topic is called Brahma Vidya Mahima. That means the glory of this teaching of Brahman. See, this teaching of Brahman can be attained only from the Upanishads. You cannot understand or you cannot go to any other textbook in the world to understand what is Brahman. You have to come to these 112 Upanishads or 12 Upanishads. There are many people who get a glimpse of this Upanishad. They want to go into the detail of this Upanishad. Then they all are very, very focused on the Upanishadic teaching because it helps me to understand not only myself, it helps me to understand the world. And the biggest advantage is it gives me the benefit of moksha. Moksha means freedom from sorrow. There is no other way to get freedom from sorrow except by learning this teaching. That is the glory of Brahma Vidya. Guru Apeksha. You can't just read a textbook of the one which I circulated today. You can't just read that textbook and say, I will get freedom, I'll get moksha. No, it's not possible. A textbook is an aid. It is an instrument for teaching. You can get some information, but if you want to have the understanding of the teaching, you need a guru. What are the qualifications of the guru and what are the qualifications of the student? These are also said in the story format. When we go through the story, you should keep these four topics in mind. Brahma Vidya Mahima, Guru Apeksha, Guru Lakshanani, and Sishya Lakshanani. Lakshanani means qualifications. By learning this, what do I understand? I should also become qualified for this teaching. The background of the story is there is a father and a son. Nachiketa is a son, 8-year-old boy of the father named Bhajashravaha. He was a Brahmana. Brahmana means he was very, very uh, conversant with the rituals, conversant with the Veda Purva Bhaga. Whenever we study Veda, we should understand there is two sections of Veda. One section is called as the Purva Bhaga, and second section is called as the Antha Bhaga. Purva Bhaga mainly consists of teachings of the rituals which are conducted by all the Brahmanas, religious people, for attainment of results in this loka, in this world during their lifetime, or after this lifetime, attainment of certain higher lokas. There are four yajnas which are described in the Vedas. Yajna means it is a fire ritual, or you can say it is a ritual for the purification of the mind. What are the five Pancha Mahayajnas? Deva Yajna, Pitru Yajna, Brahma Yajna, Manushya Yajna, Bhuta Yajna. Bhagavad Gita in chapter 4 and 5 it talks about these yajnas. So for those who are interested, they can go and study the Bhagavad Gita. What are the yajnas I should do? How should I do the yajnas? Which yajnas I should focus on? All those are given in Bhagavad Gita. Deva yajna means worship of God, temple visit. You go to Tirupati temple, you go to different religious centers in India, or you go to a temple anywhere in the world, it is called as Deva Yajna. You worship God with form. Pitru Yajna means worship of forefathers. So when your forefathers were living, they died, and then you do Pitru Yajna for them by way of Pitru Tarpana. Every year once, during the day, during a particular day, you do some fire ritual and you pour some oblations in them. The courier service, which is the fire devata called Agni Devata, becomes the courier service for taking those oblations to the forefathers. For 3 generations, you pray. Your father, your grandfather, your great grandfather, and your grandmother, great grandmother, and so on. Three generations you pray. You pray to them so that they are able to bless you and you have a good life in this world. So we need the worship of the devatas, we do the worship of forefathers. Brahma Yajna means reading the scriptures, chanting the scriptures, Vishnu Sahasranamam, Veda, Veda chantings. These are all called as Brahma Yajna. Sometimes you do also certain rituals called Brahma Yajna rituals. Those are all mentioned in Taittiriya Upanishad, the first portion. And also in Mundak Upanishad, there are some rituals which are mentioned, Agni Hotra and so on. Uh, so there are certain uh, rituals, yajnas connected with scriptures. Manushya Yajna is very common to all of us. That is what we call it in call as social service, which everybody does. Almost 80-90% of the people they all do social service in some form or the other. Even listening to the giving an ear to your neighbor to understand his problems, that also is social service. Teaching yoga is social service. Teaching Veda is social service. Teaching anything which will benefit others is social service. Then we also have, Annadanam. We have so many things. Any type of danam is Manushya Yajna. Bhuta Yajna means service to animals and plants. We pray to the Ashwatha tree because there is a Devata in the Ashwatha tree. We pray to the Tulsi plant because there is a Devata connected with the Tulsi plant. We do puja of the cow because that is also considered as the Devata. There are two ways to practice yajnas. In Kathopanishad, there is a ritual called as Vishvajit Yajna. It was a fire ritual where there are many priests are involved, many oblations are involved, and many forms of charities are involved in this Vishvajit Yajna. When you practice a ritual, you can have two types of benefits. The first benefit is called as Sakama, and the second one is called as Nishkama. Nishkama means you do it for the purity of the mind, so that the mind becomes ready for the knowledge of Brahma Vidya, so that you get a Guru Prapti, Jnana Prapti, Jnana Nishtha Prapti. I get Jnanam, but I am not able to hold on to that Brahman in my mind. It slips away every day. Many people tell me this. I can understand Brahman in the class very easily. But when I leave the class, I forget. How to hold on to that Brahman? How to hold on to that nature of mind which is pure? That is called as Nishkama Prayojanam. Anything connected to moksha, freedom from this mind and body is called as Nishkama. What about Sakama? Many people, 90% of the people are interested in Sakama, means I want money, I want children, I want fame, I want society to recognize me by doing a lot of dana. That is called as Sakama. I have a desire, Kama means desire. With desire, I do a ritual. So when you do a ritual, you take a sankalpa, a determination in the beginning. I am doing this ritual for the benefit of my child who is not well today. That my child is suffering. I am doing this simple chanting of Vishnu Sahasranama. Do it. That is Sakama. Or you can say, I want after the death of my body, I want to go and get a better body, better mind. and better world. That is called as Swarga Prapti. So you can have both type of desires and you can get fulfillment for both the type of desires through a ritual. Through this story, we prepare the base which is required for getting the moksha. Let us start with the first verse, first section. The chanting of all these verses is done by Vijaya, who is based in Texas. She's done the chanting, all chanting for all my sessions. And even for this Kathopanishad, at very short notice, I told her I'm going to start Kathopanishad. So she helped me with some of these chantings.
ॐ उषह्वै वाजश्रवसः ॐ उषह्वै वाजश्रवसः सर्ववेदसंददौ तस्यः नचिकेता नाम पुत्र आस तस्यः नचिकेता नाम पुत्र आस.
Who is performing the ritual here? A father named Vajasravas. What is the ritual he is doing? Vishwajit Yaga. And during the ritual, what does he do? He gives away his possessions as dakshina to the priests. Who is the student? His son is the student of Kathopanishad. His name is Nachiketa. Very, very bright son. He is very, very intelligent. Even though he was only 8 years old, he was a progeny of Vedanta. That is what is said in the first mantra.
Tamha kumaram santam dakshinasu niyamanasu shraddha vivesha dakshinasu niyamanasu shraddha vivesha somanyata.
In the second verse, what happens to the boy who was sitting next to his father is being explained. Nachiketa was a very informed boy. He knew the principles of yajna. He knew the principle in what? He knew that if I do a ritual for with the sakama, with the personal benefit requested for the yajna, I will get the benefit. If I want a purity of mind, I will get the purity of mind. So I have got the benefit, but how do I get the benefit? If I do the ritual correctly. Viswajit yaga done to go to Swargalo. He knows my father is doing this so that he can go to Swargaloka. In Swargaloka, what is the benefit? He will get a better quality of body and he will get better quality of mind. See, our mind is very limited. But in Swargaloka, you can have a mind which is very pure right from birth. So Nachiketa began to think, what will happen to my father who is giving this dakshina? Dakshina means it is a gift given to the priest for conducting the ritual. Now, Nachiketa had a strong faith in the scriptures because of his Purva Janma Vasana. Okay, that is said in the second mantra.
पीतोदका जग्धतृणाः पीतोदका जग्धतृणाः दुग्धदोहा निरिन्द्रियाः दुग्धदोहा निरिन्द्रियाः अनन्दानामते लोकाः अनन्दानामते लोकाः तान् स गच्छति ताददत् तान् स गच्छति ताददत्.
So during the ritual, the cows were brought up for giving as dakshina to the priest. Nachiketa saw the condition of the cows, and he knew the condition of the cows was very, very bad. That means they were not healthy cows. They were sick cows. How do you explain this? He says they can't even drink water. They don't have energy even to drink water, the cows. Now that is being given as dakshina. They have eaten the grass the last time in their life. That means they will not last for too long. They don't give milk. So if somebody gives a cow like this in a dakshina, what type of benefit will that person who is yajamana of that, what will he get is the question which Nachiketa had in his mind. He will not get swarga, he will not get the heaven, but he will go to narakam if he gives this type of dakshina. So Nachiketa's attitude was somehow or the other, I must save my father who is giving these as the dakshina. Then what happens?
सहोवाच पितरम् सहोवाच पितरम् ततः कस्मै मां दास्यसीति ततः कस्मै मां दास्यसीति द्वितीयं तृतीयं द्वितीयं तृतीयं तं होवाच मृत्यवे त्वा ददामीति तं होवाच मृत्यवे त्वा ददामीति.
So then Nachiketa thought that there is no use giving these cows as danam for the ritual. He thought better than the cows is I am a better gift to be given to the priest. And he was trying to ask his father, whom are you going to give me as a gift? He kept on asking his father. So Nachiketa was a very, very great son of the family. He kept on asking his father during the ritual. He kept on nudging him and telling him, to which priest are you going to give me? Because he didn't want to directly tell his father that he is wrong in giving these sick cows for the ritual to the priests as a dana. So 3 times he asked his father, who are you going to give me? Who are you going to give me? Irritated, the father said, God, I'm going to give it to Yamadharmaraja. He says this in anger. And what did Nachiketa do? He said, okay, you want to give me to Yamadharmaraja? Very good. I'm going to go to Yamadharmaraja now. And then he tells bye-bye to his father and says, I'm going out to meet Yamadharmaraja because I am going to go to Swarga and say to Yamadharmaraja that I am the gift of Vajashravas who has done this ritual in the land. So now what does he do? He becomes the gift for Yamadharmaraja.
बहूनामेमि प्रथमाः बहूनामेमि प्रथमाः बहूनामेमि मध्यमः बहूनामेमि मध्यमः किं स्विध्यमस्य कर्तव्यम् किं स्विध्यमस्य कर्तव्यम् यन्मयाद्य करिष्यति यन्मयाद्य करिष्यति.
Before he goes off to Yamadharmaraja, he sits in a corner of the Yagashala and starts wondering, what should I do? What should I do? Am I a good dhanam for this ritual? So he goes to a quiet place and thinks of all the consequences if he goes to Yamadharmaraja. Why does he want to go? Because the ritual, the benefit, if he gives this dhanam, my father will he will get Swargalok. He will come to Swargalok. He will enjoy in the next birth. He will go and have a better body and so on. So he gets ready. Now, before he gets ready, a thought comes to his mind. In the Swarga, Indra is the leader of Swarga. He is the king of Swarga. There are other devatas in Swarga. Agni Devata is there, Varuna Devata is there, Yamadharma Raja is there. But who is the king? Who is the leader of all this? Indra. So sending me to Yamadharma Raja is like rain falling in an ocean. You see, ocean is so big, but then giving me as Dhanam to that Indra, the leader, the king of the Devatas, is like a small drop in the ocean. And who am I? He starts internalizing his own condition of the mind. I am either a Uttama or Madhyama Sishya. See, this is the analysis of Nachiketa about his own student nature. He says, I am not a third rate student. I am not a Adhama, the lowest of the student. I can do some service to Yamadharma Raja. I can do some service in the Swarga. I can do social service. I can do some uh, character building. I will be very obedient. So I will, even in the ashrama, I am a very good student. So if I go as the gift of my father for this ritual, definitely my father will get Swarga. See, Nachiketa's interest was to make sure that his father is benefited by the ritual. The three types of Sishyas are Uttama, Madhyama, Adama. Now, this is said in many, many Upanishads and also in Vichara Sagara, a text which is a very advanced text of Vedanta. There also you have Uttama, Madhyama, Adhama, Adhikaris. Uttama Adhikari is a sharp mind. You just tell him only once, he will understand and he picks it up very fast. Sometimes without the guru, he can even he can he's ready to he can understand what the guru wants. Madhyama means he understands the guru. Whenever the guru asks for some things, he understands what he wants and he will go and render that service. Uttamadhikari is the guru just looks at him, glances. When the guru just gives a glance, he knows he wants water. So he will go and give water to the guru. What about Adhamma Guru, the Adhamma Shishya? Even when the guru tells him, please give me water, he will wonder whether he wants cold water or hot water. He gets confused and then he will not even give him, he say, maybe I should mix. I know he's confused student. Nachiketa said that he is either Uttama student or Madhyama. Therefore, I am fit to go to Swarga. Then what happens?
अनुपश्य यथा पूर्वे अनुपश्य यथा पूर्वे प्रतिपश्य तथा परे प्रतिपश्य तथा परे सस्यमिव मर्त्यः पच्यते सस्यमिव मर्त्यः पच्यते सस्यमिवा जायते पुनः सस्यमिवा जायते पुनः.
So here, Nachiketa thinks, if my father thinks that I should go to Yamadharmaja, definitely I should follow what my father has said. The leader always knows what is good for his students or what is good for his son. Other people may suggest, but the leader will decide what is good for the for the others who are following. So in this case, what happens is the father has told him, you uh, you you go to Yamadharmaraja. Father asked Nachiketa, where is he going? I did not mean what I said. You need not implement that order. Now, when Nachiketa has started packing his bag and he was about to leave, his father said, no, 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 don't worry. I just told you in anger. I never wanted you to go to Yamadharmaraja. Well, going to Yamadharmaraja, no, I mean, is not so easy. You don't have to implement that order. But what Nachiketa thought was, in the Yagashala, when the ritual is conducted, my father gave me this instruction. So, whatever instructions are given in a Yagashala must be followed. This is a principle of Yaga. So, in Dharma, in ethics and morality, Nachiketa was stronger than his father. Vakya Paripalana. Suppose, for example, your mother or father says, go and get married to this person. Many people will say, okay, I'll get married to so and so. Just to please their father. If father has said, my mother has said, it's fine. So this is one of the teachings of the story. Nachiketa, like that, like the student, if you are a son of your father, you will follow whatever the father tells you to do. I have seen many people who come and tell me this. My father has told me this, I just do it. I don't ask questions why, what, I never ask him. And he also gets fulfilled because I am listening to him. Suppose there are three brothers in a family. One son does this, whatever the father tells him. The second son will go and argue with the father. And the third son will never do what the father asks. So Uttama Adhikari is one who listens to the Guru. Suppose the Guru tells him, go and chant Vishnu Sahasranamam daily or once a month. Chant Vishnu Sahasranam, it will be good for you. Uttama Adhikari will say, yes, I will do, start from tomorrow. Some other student will say, no, why should I do it? Tell me first, what are the benefits and so on. So in this case, Vakya Paripalam is the teaching where you listen to your parents' words. Kaushalya and Dasharatha told Rama that we are going to miss you. when you go to the forest. But then Rama decided to go to the forest because he took the Diksha. Wow. All of you know the background of the story. Similarly, here, Nachiketa, he thinks life is anyway short. It is ephemeral. It is just an appearance. Sanatana Dharma is eternal. Dharma is eternal. Following Dharma in this world is eternal. That means you follow Dharma, then you are going to live eternally in this world. You can't sacrifice eternal Dharma for ephemeral, fleeting benefits. Bhagavad Gita has got this beautiful mantra in the third chapter. Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharmo swanutishtitat swadharme nidanam shreyah paradharmo bhayavaha. What does this beautiful mantra say? It says, doing your duty, dharma, is the best service you can do while you're here. Even if you have to die during doing your duty, it is good, it is okay. That is what Lord Krishna wanted to teach Arjuna. Arjuna was saying that, no, why should I fight? But that is your duty, Arjuna. That is your duty. You have to do it. Do your duty. That is your dharma. Similarly, many of us, we have a duty to our family. Don't neglect your duty to the family and run away to the Himalayas and say, I will learn Bhagavad Gita or, Upanishads and all. Doing duty itself. In Grahastha itself, you learn Bhagavad Gita, you learn Upanishad. Side by side, you can do it. So doing duty is very, very important. That is another teaching of this story. If you drop this duty, you are definitely going to have problems because your mind will not allow you to continue. You sacrifice the life for dharma. That is the teaching. Because dharma will be there as long as the creation is there, dharma will be there. The fire will be hot. The rain will fall at a particular time. That is the dharma. So, similarly, follow your dharma in this world and continue your life journey. Keep looking at your forefathers. I'm sure all of you have a grand vision of what your forefathers have done. If you go back to your own history, you'll find your forefathers have led a very, very dharmic life. They may not have had money. They may not have had knowledge of the Veda as such, but they were examples of dharmic life, value, integrity, truthfulness in life. Why are these qualities emphasized? Because they will give me purity of mind. They will give me the strength to live life when obstacles come to face me. Satpurusha means when he says, whatever a person says in a yagashala, one should follow that. Suppose the priest says, do this dhanam, we do that. Suppose the priest says, do this ritual in this fashion, we do it in that ritual in that fashion. These are all the rules conducted with the rituals. Nachiketa goes to Yamaloka. The Lord of Death is extremely busy. You know why. He is going around the whole world. So in the house, there was no male in the house. So Nachiketa thinks, I am under Yama now. Only when he gives me permission, I can enter the house. and then I can eat, or whatever. If he gives me, I will eat. So now Nachiketa has left the earthly abode and he has gone to Swarga.
वैश्वानरः प्रविशति वैश्वानरः प्रविशति अतिथिर्ब्राह्मणो गृहान् अतिथिर्ब्राह्मणो गृहान् तस्यैतां शान्तिं कुर्वन्ति तस्यैतां शान्तिं कुर्वन्ति हर वैवस्वतोदकं हर वैवस्वतोदकम्
Vaishwanara means the lord of this entire waking state. Then a Brahmana guest arrives. He is treated like a devata entering the house. So when a guest comes to your house, what will you do? First, you'll give him water. Then you will tell him, "Sit down. Please sit down. If you need if you need to rest, I will, take some rest." That is what you do. So this is what happened to Nachiketa when he went to Yamadharmaraja's house. In Yamaloka, the words of members of Yama family are described in this mantra. Manushya Yajna is Atiti Yajna, honoring guests. In Taittiriya Upanishad, also we have this mantra where we say what is right and proper must be done when somebody comes to your house. What is right and proper in life? All the duties which are mentioned for a brahmachari is given in the 9th section of first chapter in the Taittiriya Upanishad. All the list is given. What are the lists? You see, if you read the mantra here, you can see dharmascha swadhyaya pravachane cha, agnescha swadhyaya pravachane cha, prajaya swadhyaya pravachane cha. These are all the disciplines to be followed in life of a brahmachari. You offer penance, you offer study, you prepare. All the disciplines in life are mentioned in this particular. So Brahmin guest is like a Vaishwanara Agni. Agni Devata is called as Vaishwanara. The Devata, that means controller of Agni principle, is Vaishwana. What if I pray to that Agni Devata? See, many a times when the rituals are conducted, you find the Agni, the form of the Agni in a Yagashala is very, very huge flames are there. When the flames are there, what should be in your mind? It is the Devata. The form of the Devata, Agni Devata, is this what I am experiencing? Agni Devata can destroy anything for you. He can destroy your ignorance. That is the best. As a seeker, he can destroy your ignorance. And what happens when he destroys your ignorance? You get freedom. So a good Brahmana has got Shama, Dama, Shaucham, Arjavam, Jnanam, Vijnanam. Jnanam means scriptural knowledge. Vijnanam means application, the spiritual knowledge applied to yourself. So, for a Guna Brahmana, when he prays to this Agni Devata, he gets ignorance removed from his mind. So, Nachiketa has gone to Yama's house. In Yama's house, his family was there, and they said, "Let us do Pada Puja for Nachiketa. Let's not delay." Pada Puja means let us do clean up his legs. This is the Vedic culture. Okay. Now, see, these are all very beautiful stories. If you understand that there are a lot of deep meanings behind them, and that is what we should keep in mind.
आशा प्रतीक्षे सङ्गतं सूनृताञ्च आशा प्रतीक्षे सङ्गतं सूनृतांश्च इष्टापूर्ते पुत्रपशुंश्च सर्वान् इष्टापूर्ते पुत्रपशुंश्च सर्वान् एतद्वृङ्क्ते पुरुषस्य अल्पमेधसः एतद्वृङ्क्ते पुरुषस्य अल्पमेधसः यस्यानश्नन् वसति ब्राह्मणो गृहे यस्यानश्नन् वसति ब्राह्मणो गृहे.
Here in this mantra, it says, suppose you are an ignorant person but you have a lot of punyam. You have very big house. You have great people working for you. You have got all the merits because you have done a lot of charity and so on. But if a Brahmana guest comes to your house and you don't feed him, all the punyam which you have will be destroyed. That is what is said in this mantra. What happens if a Brahmin guest is not honored with food, with water, with the place to rest? A list of punya karmas which are destroyed is given here in this mantra. Asha. Asha means hopes of the future. Not based on knowledge, but for example, rain will come in for me for my farms. That is a hope for the future. So Asha will be destroyed. Pratiksha, expectation. What will happen based on the knowledge? Suppose somebody has sent you a message. That means based on the knowledge, what will happen? Pratiksha, you're hoping that person will visit you in this house today. You're hoping I will pass this exam. This pratiksha will be gone if you don't take care of the tithi in your house. Sangatam, adrishta punyam, born of association with Mahatmas. Now you are attending many talks of Mahatmas in your cities. That punyam, because of which you attend, will be lost if you don't take care of Brahmana guests who come to your house. Sanrutam, appropriate organ of speech, tapas. That speech, good words, you will not be able to speak if you don't take care of your guests. Ishta, religious Vaidika activities. Ishta means I want to do this yajna. Those yajnas you will not be able to do if you don't take care of the Brahmana. Laukika secular activities of building schools, temples, hospitals. These are all punya kramas. If you don't honor a Brahmana guest, if you have a omission, what you do? You do pada puja of a guest so that all what you have not done, you can. It is like to get rid of all the sins committed. You do pada puja. That is what had happened to Nachiketa when he visited Yamadharmaraja's house. Now, next, the next verse says there are 3 nights. Nachiketa was in the Yamadharmaraja's house where he didn't eat anything. Let's see how this verse goes.
तिस्रो रात्र, 'यदवात्सि गृहे मे तिस्रो रात्रिर्यदवात्सीगृहे मे अश्नन् ब्रह्मन् अतिथिर्नमस्यः अश्नन् ब्रह्मन् अतिथिर्नमस्यः नमस्तेस्तु ब्रह्मन् स्वस्ति मेस्तु नमस्तेस्तु ब्रह्मन् स्वस्ति मेस्तु तस्मात् प्रति त्रीन् वर्णावृणीष्व तस्मात् प्रति त्रीन् वर्णान् वृणीष्व.
So now, in this part of the story, Yama Dharmaraja has returned from his duty. He has come back to his house. He is seeing Nachiketa. And Yama Dharmaraja performs a Pada Puja because he is his guest. Now he is telling Nachiketa, I have stayed in this house 3 days without eating. Now, I want to do Prashchittam. Prashchittam means you do something to get rid of the sin which you have committed. You see, even Yamadharmaraja is a exalted jiva only. Jiva in the who has done many yajnas. Suppose you also do yajnas, you can also become a devata in the Swarga. So Yamadharmaraja, in order to keep up his own status, he does Pada Puja, he asks Nachiketa, I will give you 3 boons because you stayed in this house without eating. Because I was busy somewhere, nobody offered you food, you didn't eat. Now I need to compensate you for that. Ask 3 boons from me, I will try to fulfill your boons. Okay? Because Mother Maharaja is asking Nachiketa if I do fine, very good. Okay, I didn't eat 3 days, so what? But now I say I'm in very good hands. Let me ask, Yamadhara Maharaja is a devata. He can give me anything, whatever he wants.
शान्तसङ्कल्पः सुमना यथा स्याद् शान्तसङ्कल्पः सुमना यथा स्याद् भीतमन्युर्गौतमो माभिमृत्यो भीतमन्युर्गौतमो माभिमृत्यो त्वत्प्रसृष्टं माभिवदेत् प्रतीत त्वत्प्रसृष्टं माभिवदेत् प्रतीत एतत्त्रयाणां प्रथमं वरं वृणे एतत्त्रयाणां प्रथमं वरं वृणे.
So, Nachiketa now is so happy because he can get something out of Yamadharma. So, what is the first boon he's asking from the Lord of Death? He says, my first boon is please make my father happy. Because when I left the house, he was very disturbed. When I go back to the house, I want him to receive me with a smile. He should recognize me. So, by this, what do you understand? Nachiketa knew that I will be returning to the world again after I am in Swargalok. Okay, that is the and that
तिस्रो
so that is what is the first boon he is asking. So 3 things are asked. First is father must be peaceful. Second is Nachiketa should be released from Yamadharmaraja and he must go back to his father. The third boon is asking 3 parts to the first boon. Yeah, it's not 3 boons. Parts to the first boon is father must be peaceful. Nachiketa should go back to the world to meet his father. Third one is father should recognize and treat him with love and affection. The four names of Vajashravas is one is Vajashravas, Gautama, Aruni, Audalaki. This is just academic. These are the names used by Nachiketa to name his father in Kathopanishad.
यथा पुरस्तात् भविता प्रतीतः यथा पुरस्तात् भविता प्रतीतः औद्धालकिर्अरुणिर्मत्प्रसृष्टः औद्धालकिर्आरुणिर्मत्प्रसृष्टः सुखं रात्रिः शयिता वीतमन्युः सुखं रात्रिः शयिता वीतमन्युः त्वां ददृशिर्वान्मृत्युर्मुखात् प्रमुक्तम् त्वां ददृशिर्वान्मृत्युमुखात् प्रमुक्तम्.
So in the 11th mantra, the first boon is given by Yamadharmaraja to Nachiketa. The first boon is that my father should be peaceful, I should go back to the world, and my father should be able to recognize me. So, tathastho. Yamadharmaraja said, oh, it's very easy. I can easily fulfill that. So Yamadharmaraja grants the first boon. That is what is said in the 11th mantra. From the 12th mantra to the 19th mantra is the second boon. It's a very 8 verses are there talking about the second boon. What is the second boon? See, Nachiketa wanted the people in the world, Manushya Loka, to get a ritual so that everybody who does the ritual can go to Swarga. Everybody wants to have prosperity in life. Everybody wants to have a comfortable life. So if they get a ritual which they can do to come to Swargaloka, it will be a great help to the society. That is what was the second boon Nachiketa asked Yamadharmaraja. Yamadharmaraja was very, very happy with this second boon. He said, I will give you a ritual. Now you learn the ritual and you go back in the world, teach the ritual. I will name that ritual as Nachiketa ritual. So from 12th verse to the 19th verse, he talks about the ritual.
स्वर्गे लोके न भयं किञ्चनास्ति स्वर्गे लोके न भयं किञ्चनास्ति न तत्र त्वं न जरया बिभेति न तत्र त्वं न जरया बिभेति उभे तीर्त्वा शनया पिपासे उभे तीर्त्वा शनया पिपासे शोकातिगो मोदते स्वर्गलोके शोकातिगो मोदते स्वर्गलोके.
So majority in the world, they want a comfortable life, prosperous life, materialistic life. So Nachiketa, he first glorifies this Swargaloka. He says there is no insecurity because Lord Yama is not there. No Kala Tattvam is there in Swargaloka. In different lokas, different times, people can get there can get tarpanam and get their food. But in Swarga Loka, there is no Kala Tattva. Kala means there is no time principle in Swarga. So if people can go to Swarga Loka, then they can enjoy a good life. They can remain always young. 17, 18 years old. You can imagine when you are 17, 18 years old, you have so much of energy. You feel that that age was my best age in my life. You may be 50, 60 today, but 17, 18, what a tremendous energy you had. You could do everything. You thought the whole world I can achieve. And that time there was no grief or sorrow. There was no trace of death for you. No disease. After 40, 50, diseases start telling you, yes, we are also there. But at that age, you don't have any worry. He's trying to compare Swarga life to the earthly life. How it will be in Swarga if people can get a ritual to go to Swarga. Okay, this description of Swarga and all that continues further and further.
सत्त्वमग्निं स्वर्गमध्येषि मृत्यो सत्त्वमग्निं स्वर्गमध्येषि मृत्यो प्रब्रूहि त्वं श्रद्धदानाय मह्यं प्रब्रूहि त्वं श्रद्धदानाय मह्यं स्वर्गलोका अमृतत्वं भजन्ते स्वर्गलोका अमृतत्वं भजन्ते एतद्वितीयेन वृणेवरेण एतद्वितीयेन वृणेवरेण.
This mantra gives the details of the ritual which Nachiketa has asked. First thing you should understand is it gives us immortality because in Swarga Loka there is no Kala Tattva. Nachiketa asks for the Agni ritual mainly to attain immortality. See, many of us, we think that I am not going to be there in this world forever. But that is because of avidya in their minds. If you have your ignorance is removed about this world, you will not have this mortality problem. Here, 6 levels of heaven are talked about. Celestials, because they have done good karmas in the previous Manusha Loka, they go to the 6 other lokas after death. Bhuvar Loka, Suvar Loka, Mahar Loka, Jana Loka, Tapo Loka, Brahma Loka. Pleasures are, they grow in each Loka. Bhuvar Loka is the lowest. Highest is Brahma Loka. In Brahma Loka, you can even get Lord to teach you Upanishad. That is what is promised in the Veda. You can get Brahmaji to teach you Upanishad. There you can get freedom also. In Mundaka Upanishad, it talks about, I told you that Mundaka Upanishad also talks about rituals. So this is a mantra which talks about the different pleasures one can get in other lokas. Agni has 3 meanings. But before that, in all these 6 lokas, after you go to that loka, you come back to the Manusha Loka because your punyam can hold on in those lokas only for a short period of time. That is why Brahma Vidya is very, very important. Brahma Vidya, you see, in those lokas, what will happen? You will still continue to be identified with the body and mind and enjoy the experiences of life. You will not get freedom from body and mind. Freedom from body and mind will only come from Brahma Vidya, which is what we are going to study. After this teaching is all, after the story part, what is Brahman, which I introduced right in the beginning? Brahma Satyam Jagan Vitya Jivo Brahmai Vanaparaha. That teaching will be taught. That is the only teaching which will give you moksha. Agni has 3 meanings in Kathopanishad. Agni means specific fire chanting specific mantras located in a specific place. Agni also means a specific ritual where different rituals are mentioned, different mantras are chanted. Agni also means a specific devata. It can either mean the fire, it can mean the ritual, the mantras connected with the fire, or it can mean the devata which is connected with the fire. For example, Virat Devata is connected with the rituals here in this portion. Nachiketa had Shraddha in the Vedas and in the existence of heaven. So he continued. He said, "Okay, I know that there are different higher lokas, and what are those benefits? Also, I know."
प्रते ब्रवीमि तदु मे निबोध प्रते ब्रवीमि तदु मे निबोध स्वर्ग्यमग्निं नचिकेतः प्रजानन् स्वर्ग्यमग्निं नचिकेतः प्रजानन् अनन्तलोकाप्तिमथो प्रतिष्ठान् अनन्तलोकाप्तिमथो प्रतिष्ठान् विद्धि त्वमेतं निहितं गुहायां विद्धि त्वमेतं निहितं गुहायाम्
Raja says, "Oh, you want to know about this ritual? I know this ritual. There is a ritual I know. If you do this ritual, you will get the benefit of Swargaloka." So he teaches the ritual to Nachiketa. Now, what is the Devata which is there in this ritual? In this, see, whenever there is a yajna, Agni is there, fire is there. Now, what do you meditate? What upasana you do while doing the ritual? That is what is called as the Virat Upasana. You see, the whole world is controlled by one Devata. It is called as Virat Devata. In Mandukya Upanishad, that is the first pada, Vishwa Virat. So Virat controls the entire Vishwa. All the individual jivas are all under the control of Virat Devata. In chapter 11 of Bhagavad Gita, we have this Vishwarupa Devata Upasana. Arjuna was taught by Lord Krishna the same Virat Upasana, which Nachiketa is getting here in Kathopanishad. If you so if you invoke this devata and do the ritual, you will reach Swarga. That is the lesson we understand from the 14th mantra.
लोकादिमग्निं तमुवाच तस्मै लोकादिमग्निं तमुवाच तस्मै या इष्टका यावतीर्वा यथा वा या इष्टका यावतीर्वा यथा वा स चापि तत्प्रत्यवदत् यथोक्तम् स चापि तत्प्रत्यवदत् यथोक्तम् अथास्य मृत्युः पुनरेवाहतुष्टः अथास्य मृत्युः पुनरेवाहतुष्टः.
So, what did Yamadharmaraja teach Nachiketa about the ritual that is mentioned in the 15th mantra? He taught him how many bricks have to be used for construction of that Homa Kunda. How the bricks have to be placed. Is it in a rectangular form? Is it a circular form? Is it a triangular form? How many inches from the ground? All those are all specific instructions given. If you go to a priest, he will tell you all those rules and regulations. How the fire has to be kindled in that, what type of mantras have to be chanted, what is a devata to be meditated, All those are taught by Yamadharmaraj. Before starting a ritual, we must invoke a deity on the Homakunda, chant a mantra to prepare the bricks. Then the size of the bricks, the shape of the Homakunda, as per the fire shape of the Homakunda, the fire shape changes. Ahavani Agni, Dakshinaya Agni, Gage Patni Agni. These are all different types of fire. Which fire I should bring to ignite the fire of the ritual? All these are all specific instructions which are connected with the ritual. What oblations have to be prepared? With what material the oblations have to be prepared? There are many, many rules and regulations connected with that. There are two types of rituals. One is Kevala Karma, another is Upasana Sahita Karma. Kevala Karma means the priest will just keep on chanting a mantra, he will put the ahuti, and you will get the lower lokas if you do Kevala Upasana, Kevala Karma. But suppose you have a same ritual and also combine it with Upasana, it is called as Upasana Sahita Karma. Now, when you do this, you invoke Virat Devata on the Agni, which you ignite in the fire, in the Homakunda. From Virat Shariram, there are 14 lokas which emerge. That means when you pray to that Devata, even if you do Vishwarupa Devata, Upasana in meditation, you can get any of the higher lokas. That is what is mentioned here. In Purusha Suktam is a very famous Suktam where it says, from that Purusha here means what? Consciousness principle. The same thing is mentioned in Prashna Upanishad also. In chapter 6 of Prashna Upanishad, the question is asked by a student, teach me that Shodasha Kala Purushaha. Purusha means consciousness. In Prashna Upanishads, it says this entire creation was born from that Purusha, from that Sat principle, that Chit principle. So in Purusha Suktam also, it says this entire whole cosmos is born from that Purusha, is born from that Chaitanya principle. That Purusha is called as Brahma. That Brahman is all pervading. He's there in the furthest of the stars. He's there in my body also. So in Prashna Upanishad, a very beautiful chapter, the sixth, last chapter of Prashna Upanishad, Shankaracharya writes a beautiful bhashyam there. Very interesting bhashyam. He says, understanding this Purusha, which is there in my heart, that means you and I also can invoke that Purusha in our own heart, in our own mind. That Purusha resides. That Purusha is the Virat Purusha. That Purusha is eternal. That Purusha has got the entire Samashti Sthula Shariram, Sthula Prapancha. What is the definition of Virat? Virat definition is Samashti Sthula Prapancha Sahita Chaitanya. Consciousness pervading the entire gross universe is this Purusha. The same thing is explained in the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Macrocosmic universe, blessed. It is not only the universe. Universe by itself is Jadam. We are not talking of that. There is a Devata which blesses that. That consciousness which blesses that is called as Virat Devata. Vishwarupa Devata. Nachiketa had Medha Shakti. Here, the qualification of the student is given. Great memory power Nachiketa had. Verbatim, he could repeat what the teacher taught. Word by word, he repeated. He repeated the entire ritual as taught by Yamadharma Raja. Whole. How to do the rituals, word by word. Because he has to go back to the world and then teach this ritual, and it is going to be called Nachiketa ritual. Okay. So Yamadharma Raja was very impressed by Nachiketa.
तं ब्रवीत् प्रीयमाणो महात्मा तं ब्रवीत् प्रीयमाणो महात्मा वरं तवेहाद्य दधामि भूयः वरं तवेहाद्य ददामि भूयः तवैव नाम्ना भवितायमग्निः तवैव नाम्ना भवितायमग्निः शृङ्कां क्षेमान् अनेकरूपां गृहाण शृङ्कां क्षेमाम् अनेकरूपां गृहाण.
So Lord Yamadharmaraja was very pleased because this Nachiketa repeated with his Medha Shakti, he repeated verbatim. What a great student this is. I just taught him once and then he repeated whatever he told me. And then he presented Nachiketa with a necklace. Because he was very happy with this. This is an additional boon which Nachiketa got because of his superior memory power, by which he could chant and repeat whatever he was taught by Yamadharmaraj. So Lord Yama gave two gifts to Nachiketa, two gifts. What are the two gifts? He gave Nachiketa the ritual, Nachiketa ritual was named after him. In Surya Namaskara mantra also, Nachiketa ritual, the Nachiketa word comes in the Surya Namaskara mantras. A costly diamond necklace studded with gems. Nachiketa rejected this. Now, you see, Yamadharmaraja can give anything. He gave that two gifts. But what did Nachiketa do? The what he did was he rejected the necklace. He said, what am I going to do with this necklace? I am an 8-year-old boy. What am I going to do with this necklace? He rejected the necklace. And in the verse number 17 and 18, the benefit of Nachiketa ritual is mentioned. And this we will start next week. Next week, we'll start with the benefit of the ritual. There are 29 verses in this section. So there are 13 verses more explaining the ritual, the benefits, the boons, and so on. So this is the story part. Like this, we will study next week also. And then we will, in the second section, we will start seeing the questions of Nachiketa about death. That portion is going to probably we'll see in the next 2 weeks later, but it's a very beautiful portion. Nachiketa asked Lord Yamadharmaraja, what happens to people after they die? Is there anything which is there after death, or is there nothing? Answer to that question is the whole teaching of Kathopanishad. Okay, that portion will come later, but I just wanted to give you a small hint as to where we are going to get. And next week we'll start with the 17th mantra. which are the conditions to get the phalam of Nachiketa ritual. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachade Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyade. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Correct. Yeah. Okay. There are some. Manikandan has asked a question. Uh, see, what he's asking is Yama is already knower of Brahman. That's correct. It may not be required to do. He may not require it. Now, the teaching of the story is only meant for students. It is not. It is only to purify our own mind. See, when we are studying the Upanishad, we get a knowledge how I should lead in this life. I should treat my guests well. I should conduct rituals. I should do the Panchamaha Yajna. By doing these yajnas, by doing these rituals, by being a good moral citizen in the world, I will get certain qualifications by which I will get the purity of mind. That is the central thing you should you see in throughout this story form. Drop the story, keep understanding how what is the teaching I am getting. Even the Nachiketa ritual we are not going to perform. Just say, okay, there is something which is connected, which is there in the world. If people are there, they do that ritual. Even today there is that ritual is available. If you go to a priest and go and ask your purohit, he will tell you there is a ritual. Some people who do it in India even today. But you and I may not be able to do it. We may not be interested. Our aim is what? Aim is purification of my mind. How do I keep my mind pure? See, our mind needs to settle down to understand what lies beyond the mind. Very important. We are not talking about the mind, and we are not, see, our mind is made up of three gunas: Sattva guna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna. Tamoguna, we can't do anything. We feel sleepy, we go to sleep. But excess sleep, we should avoid. Keep an alarm, get up after 5, 6, 7 hours of sleep. Okay. That is one way of training the mind to sleep, having adequate sleep. Sleep is very, very important in life. You should sleep mediocre. You should not be excess sleep. It should not be less sleep also. If you sleep for 14 hours, 12 hours, that's not good. If you sleep for 4 hours, that is also not good. 8 hours of sleep, 6 hours, between 6 to 8 is normal sleep time. Similarly, food also. In Bhagavad Gita, all these regulations are prescribed so that our mind can be kept pure. Our mind should be alert. Suppose you are learning this Upanishad. Okay. Am I able to keep my mind completely alert on this teaching? Because mantras are coming in the second section where your mind has to be very alert. Your mind is the only instrument you have for getting the freedom from the mind. You should be able to say, I am free of the mind because I know Atma. I am Atma. That should be your goal. Okay. So, Manikandan, am I clear? It is made for the students. You're right. Manikandan, can you confirm if you understood? You can unmute yourself, Manikandan.
Thank you, Sakshi. Yes, very clear now. This
Okay,
was my
good.
understanding. So it
Very
is very
good.
clear that because I was thinking why he has to do these rituals, because Yama is
No,
already right. So I thought it was meant for the students. It's very clear. Thank you so much.
good, good, very good. Aparna Ram is asking, are punya karmas alone sufficient for attainment of Swargaloka, and is yajna also required for Swargaloka? See, punya karma, you see, the Veda is the only pramanam and it is invisible. That is the problem with punya karmas. It is adrishtam. You do a ritual today. What happens to that result of that ritual? Nobody knows. You will not know today. You will get the benefit of it for sure because it is mentioned in the Veda Purva portion. So your question is yajna also required for Swargaloka? Yes. Yajna means ritual, fire ritual is required for Swargaloka. Your question is, suppose I do only Danam, will I go to Swarga or not? That is the question. That is, your question is, if I do Danam, will I go, but Danam will give me Swarga or not? Fire ritual, is it required to go to Swarga or not? That is what you are asking. The answer to this question is, as for the Kathopanishad is concerned, there is a specific ritual which you do to go to Swarga. That is an easier method than trying to say by doing dhanam, by doing good deeds, I will go to Swarga, because those are not quantifiable. Whereas a yajna, if you do a complete yajna, it is quantifiable. It is easily to say, yes, I see, there is no proof. Nobody is going to come and verify whether doing this yajna you'll go to Swarga or not. There is no proof. But living a dharmic life alone will not be enough in life. This is as per the scriptures. That is why yajnas are also involved. Yajnas see, if you study the Veda Purva portion, there are yajnas for our regular life. Most of us, we do some simple rituals at home. When a child is born, we do a small ritual at home. On the 10th day, we give a nama for the child. We do a ritual. Similarly, Lakshmi Narayan Puja is done at home. For those who are familiar, more familiar with other rituals, they do. Now, these rituals, they give ihaloka phala. That means you will be happy in this world. Now, why do you why do you live dharmic life? So that you lead a dharmic life for two reasons. One is, while living here itself, your mind will be peaceful. That is one benefit. The second benefit is, Veda says if you lead a dharmic life, you will get a better quality life in the future. That future can be either in Swarga or in coming back to Bhuloka again, but in a with a different body and different environment. Bhagavad Gita says this very beautifully. Arjuna asked this question to Lord Krishna. He says, oh Lord, you are telling me all this, do this upasana and all that in the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Tell me something. What happens if I do these upasanas but I'm not successful in this life? What will happen to me? Then the Lord says, Yoga Prishta. Yoga Prishta means you will be born in a right environment and take on from there. See, we don't know. All these are all invisible results. So, Aparna, there is no clear-cut answer for your questions, but generally speaking, from what we understand, there are rituals available. You do those rituals, go to Swarga. It is available. If you ask the priest, he will tell you, but those are all very difficult to do. And you have to do it extremely well. Leading a dharmic life has great benefits. Suppose you, I mean, the dharmic life is not so easy. But if you lead a dharmic life, it will give you a peaceful mind while living. With that, there are no other questions in the chat box. I will now go to the people who are asking questions here by raising their hands. If you need to ask any question, please raise your hand so that I can ask the question. Nandu, go ahead.
Hariom, sir. As you mentioned, I mean, story is not, study part for us, but just for like curiosity, the Aruni Uddalak name came. Is it some relation for the Chandogya Upanishad? The Uddalak, what we are learning there also in 6th chapter in Chandogya.
Correct. No, you are right. I mean, the names Aruni is there in Chandogya as well as here also. But there is no connection between Chandogya and this. Here it is only Vajashrava is given another name Aruni. That's all. But nowhere does it say it is the same Aruni of Chandogya Upanishad. Am I clear?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Okay. Anybody else has a question? Okay, there are no other questions. We will close today and then we'll continue next week. See, these questions and answers are very, very important. If you have, you can put them in the chat board, or you can send, you can keep writing down these questions yourself. But Kathopanishad is, you'll see the beauty of this Upanishad in the second section and the second chapter. There is a section which talks about Etat Vaita. Etat Vaita. There are three boons he asked. So the first boon we have finished. The father being peaceful. Second boon is the Nachiketa ritual. Third boon is very, very important. We'll study next week. The third boon. And then what is the teaching of Lord Yama Dharmaraja? It's a very beautiful portion which you don't see in any other Upanishad. It's got its own style. Okay, thank you. We'll continue next week. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you,
Namaste,
sir.
Shekharji.
Namaste.
Hariom.
Hari Om.